My name is Susan Chamberlain, and I'm the owner of the Bookkeeper bookstore in Northgate Plaza in Sarnia. And I'm also the owner of Poppies, which is the gift shop at Blue Water Health. I have owned the Bookkeeper for just over 20 years, and Poppies has been, I think, 11 years now. My inspiration, my influence was Kathy Mitchell, and is Kathy Mitchell. She was the owner of the Bookkeeper previous to myself. And I started working at the Bookkeeper when I was 16. So she was a very strong influence in my life. I was a book lover to start with. I started working at the bookstore in high school and learned, at her knee, the value of customer service, the value of good literature, community interaction, all kinds of wonderful things. So Kathy Mitchell was a huge influence, continues to be a mentor, and a best friend. So yeah, definitely Kathy Mitchell put me on my track. I think there was no negative feedback. Everybody was excited and happy. Like I said, I'd worked for the Bookkeeper for years. I went away to university. I worked at a used bookstore when I was at university. I graduated, I went into publishing, and I was a sales rep and sold to bookstores, including the Bookkeeper. So I would travel back to Sarnia and sell books here. I brought authors to town. I then became a manager of a bookstore in Oakville for a few years, and then I returned to Sarnia. It was really no big surprise. Well, like I said, Kathy Mitchell was for sure an early supporter and a mentor, but I come from a very supportive family. I have a big family, very supportive parents. I have an amazing husband. When I took over the Bookkeeper, my kids were 2 and 4, which was young and scary. So without my husband, Paul, to be there to support at home, it wouldn't have happened, because really, my experience is that the business is all consuming. It's really, it's the real challenge is balancing the work-life balance and the time-money balance. Those are the things you're always, I wish I had more of time and money and time at home and time at work. There's just not enough hours in the day to do all the things that you want to do everywhere. So yeah, I couldn't have done it without Paul, family, the community. The Bookkeeper was already a well-loved entity. When I took it over, it had already been here for 20 years. So, it already had that incredible support of the community. So there was support all the way around. Like I say, I was on the path for years, so it was a natural progression. The week that I took over the Bookkeeper, we went from an analog bookstore to a digital bookstore. So that first week, we had to take every book in the store and input it manually with typing into our computer system, because I was computerizing the store. That meant we entered the ISBN number, the title, the author, the price, the publisher. There was data entry. It was insane and intense. It was very intense. And I sort of thought that week, what have I done? I'm never getting out of this hole. And then, so we had been closed for a week, but then that first day we opened, and that first sale, it was just oh, here it is. It's really mine. I can't believe it. I remember just ringing through the first person and thinking, oh, that's my money. It'd probably be no surprise that the pandemic sure rocked my boat. Yeah, at the beginning of the pandemic, absolute terror. All of this that had been built, I really had no idea. Nobody had an idea how this was going to unfold, what was going to happen. I thought this could definitely be the end of the business. I couldn't get my head around the idea that we might close our doors, we would never close our doors, or that I would lay people off. This is my family. I can't lay them off. What are they going to do? It was really, really scary. It didn't really make me rethink, my business, of course. But I, went home one day thinking this can never happen. And the next morning came in and it was like, well, this is happening. Like, okay, I'm laying off staff members, which was very difficult. We closed our doors. We tried curbside for a day or two, but with our reduced staff, we really couldn't handle it. So yeah, the pandemic sure changed things and has made it scary, but it's also, it's made us resilient. It's made me realize, okay, we're going to be okay. But it is time, managing time, and it's all consuming. When you're an entrepreneur, you're doing something hopefully that you love. So you want to put all your energy there, and but also there's your home life, there's your family, which also you love. So it is, the challenge is balancing, and the challenge is managing people, and the challenge is making good decisions. And well, there's lots of challenges, but I also want to really say that the payoff is there, the satisfaction, the joy of seeing some of your ideas come to fruition, and in a beautiful way. So challenges are there. Christmas is a challenge. The holiday season is like running a marathon. It's just astounding how much work it is.
There's a lot of stuff goes out that front door in that period of time.
And that's also the time of all of the author events, which of course we haven't done for the last couple of years, but like everything comes down in October, November, December. So not only are you doing, considerably more business out the door, but you're also doing events at night and on the weekends. And there's just, for myself, I find myself, I run back into the house, I change into some dressy clothes, I get out, go on stage, give a little speech, and it's wonderful. These events are fantastic, but they take a lot of energy. And then, you crash at the end of the night, and then you get up and you do it all again the next day. I don't think anybody gets into book selling for money. So this is how I measure success: happiness, satisfaction. And it's my own happiness and satisfaction, but it's also, is my family happy? Is my staff happy? Are my customers happy? That's really, obviously customer happiness is the key thing. And that's part of what I would say when we were in the thick of the pandemic. Whatever you want as a customer, we can probably do it. Just ask us, because it's just us and it's just you. And, it's not some big corporation. I can make whatever rules I want and I can do whatever I want, which is really satisfying. So I measure success by how happy everybody is. Every woman everywhere would say yes, probably every day that happens. It's just the reality of the world and the culture that we live in. So I don't really have a specific example. Like was never anything horrendous really that happened. So nothing like that, but definitely that's part of the battle as a business person, is establishing yourself. And like, I do know what I'm doing. I have been doing this for a long time. Listen to me. So, yes, it's out there. Bookstore, the Bookkeeper and Poppies, I really have spoken a lot about the bookstore. But I think that like the reputation that they have in the community makes me very proud. If you wanted to have like one shining moment in my career, when just before the pandemic, we hosted an event with Margaret Atwood, which was really one of my life goals. And it's kind of ironic, because at her event, we sold out 700 tickets in a day and a half. 6 months before the event, we were stunned and happy. And, the whole thing was just magical. But at the event, I said in my talk, that this is it. I've hit the pinnacle I have Margaret Atwood here today, and tomorrow I can retire happy. And of course I haven't retired, but it was the last big author event that I did before the pandemic, which is okay. Pivoted, and now that we're this far into it and new mandates come down, it's like, okay, I can do that. Okay. I feel like knock wood, I feel like the worst of it is over, and the actual being closed down and laying people off. Like now, if we had to close again, I wouldn't have to lay people off. We would just redistribute things and figure it out. But because now we have that under our belt going forward. But yeah, I would definitely say do it. If your heart is there, it's a very satisfying life. It's pretty fantastic. Let's see. One of the main things is to surround yourself with good people and to empower them to bring their own creativity to the workplace. Now, the bookkeeper in particular is at a stage now where I might kind of control it, but I don't really control it. It's the team. There are so many things that I don't know how to do anymore at my own store, but I'm like, hey, how do I do this? Hey. So good people and allowing them creativity is really important. I think also, I love where I am now. I would love to be a consultant and help people start up their business. And of course, I'm talking specifically about retail, but customer service is everything. Customer service, and everything is customer service. Okay. So whether you're in retail or not, whenever you're interacting with your clients, your customers, it's all about customer service. It's all about kindness and friendliness, and what can I do for you, and how can I make this easier? So customer service and recognizing that and listening to your customers, really important. One other things, be consistent. One of the things I'm a real stickler for is, our hours are etched in stone. If we are opening at 9:30, our doors are open at 9:30. And if we close at 5:30, and those are our hours, we don't, that you don't show up at the store at 5:25 and find the doors shut. Absolutely not. You are there when you say you are going to be there, and you deliver what you say you're going to deliver. So that's really important. I think as a business, to be a reputable business. Other advice I would give people is to recognize that whatever you're doing is a business. So if you, for book selling, when I took over the bookstore, there were many years where I didn't think I was a business person, where I thought, oh, I'm just selling books. I love books. Books are so great, which is all true. But I didn't embrace the business side of the business. And in hindsight, I think that was a mistake on my part. So I would say to aspiring entrepreneurs to recognize that what you're doing is stepping into a business, and be professional and look at the whole picture. Don't let things slip away because you don't like them, because that's part of it. Things definitely that I would do differently, of course, with the hindsight and the years of experience. And one of them I had mentioned, one thing I would do differently is to recognize myself as a business person right out of the gate, and to recognize that this bookstore is definitely a business. It's a big going concern, and to pay more attention to the business side of it, which is the part I knew least about. I knew about book selling when I came into this. I should have spent more time in the early days working on the business. And I think it wasn't even till I bought or opened Poppies, my gift shop at the hospital, that I thought, one day I just sort of went, oh, I have 2 stores. I think I'm an entrepreneur.